Hello everybody, it's the final game before lunch, round 22. I'm Colin Northmore, a half-decent player from England who's not attending this year. The BMSC tournament appears to be between three players now. Phil Robertshaw's on 16 wins, Lewis Mackay's on 16 with Phil having a 270 point better spread, and Austin on 15 wins, so they'll probably be playing each other in the final three games after this. But we've got Rafal Dominiczak now, who's in contention on 13.5 wins, starting against Phil Robertshaw. Rafal's got an opening record, CNTVISS, so he'll be looking to play an S off and the V and gets V on a double letter. But in fact he's changed, which is extremely defensive. Phil has got a DGIMRRW, which is not very friendly again. In fact, it's quite grim, and you can get grim from his letters. But Phil may possibly change as well, knowing that Raf has only changed 3 and is likely to have a strong rack, and not wanting to provide any playthroughs. So Phil's changed 6, keeping the R. Raf has got a Dream Scrabble rack of retains. He kept INTS, so he must have picked up REA. So he can have one of 11 anagrams here of retains and choose where he wishes to have it for the best defensive reasons, but there isn't really any defense to retains, except whatever Phil's rack is, which isn't over-promising, of did UNHR. So Quackle suggested nasty is the word, but Quackle doesn't take account of vertical plays, which Rafa has done with an S3. As I believe Chris Hawkins said earlier, vertical plays are no weaker than horizontal, but on the opening move, Quackle only suggests horizontal plays. So Rafa's got 66 nice easy points, and if Phil had a E instead of the A, he'd have 100, but he hasn't. I can't see anything weird and wonderful with these letters. Maybe something wonderful like DUH to the left or right of ANE of an S3. I don't think there'd be an A3E. Phil may know better than me. But Ruff has picked up a nice QAT with TAYE. I think Jessica's just getting off Quackle's best play with Phil's rack. Thule S says nerdish, but there's an extra D, so it's not many points. In the playing room, apparently there's a wasp alert, so we're safe here at home commentating. Yes, Quackle has said what I said. DUH as the best move to either the left or the right of an S3 at the top. Second best move is a word I'm not familiar with, HIRUDIN, Hirudin. Ruff has picked up a very strong rack. When I see it again, oh, it was showing something else. It must have been Phil's pickup. So Rafa can do something extremely boring like QA on the T of an S3, but that's leaving a bit too much rubbish, so you need to think a little harder on this one. Indeed, QAT is Quackle's suggested at the best play, and Rafa has indeed gone with that, leaving himself a TTYAE rack leave. Phil has got quite appropriate after this game. It's dinner tea for dinner time. The tea is for. There possibly could be an 8 to the I. Is there? It's not coming to me straight away. Can Quackle help us? Still can't get one. So here, unless Phil can work out an 8 with a floating I, which I can't at this moment in time, we'll be looking to maybe play a DIN to give him a decent rack leave. Can Quackle help inspire me, Jessica, please? Yes, I was right in saying playing off the NID and this on J4. J4. So it's to make ADD add in the top. And just having a change on the board, apparently DUH was played to the left-hand side of an S string off the right-hand side. So the recommended play now is DINT down on the right-hand side, which Phil appears to have played, which is nice points, 25 with a REN rack leave, I believe. Rafa's got a bit of a weird rack, TAYETAF. So he's probably looking to play off something like TAYF if possible. I believe Trafe is good, TRAYF, which would be a nice fit under the A of Quat. So I'm going for Trafe. Mine is the third best one. The top move is Fatty, which fits in nicely before it became too fatty to the right of Dint, with making Dada, Unit, Hent and Sty. And Rafa has indeed played that, which is a very nice move. So Rafa's got a lead of 136 to 44, a 92-point lead. Phil's only got one vowel on his rack, and double S and double N. He has got a I to play through. I can't see a tremendous play using an NSBE. Quackle's telling us the top move is a Brenz through the R, which is the R I suggested for Trafe the previous go. Phil has played a Biners using his duplicate S and having a high tile turnover to give himself a chance to pick up some vowels. He has only picked up one vowel. With a floater it may be useful, but we'll see what Rafa provides. And Rafa indeed has got 5 vowels and Y the quasi vowel, so there may be a chance that Phil is given a vowel floater, although Rafa will do his best not to oblige with that. Rafa's gone for sort of points and safety, but left himself with four vowels. AIYEE, which I believe is a new word in CSW 15, was suggested as being a top play, leaving a balanced rack, but Rafa's decided to play GEY, which has scored well, but hasn't given Phil any floaters, which is good for Rafa. I think METH is probably good meth under Biner, which it is, which is 26 points, which is the highest scores play. But him is being suggested by Quackle, I believe. Meth has been played, but vertically by Phil, preserving his E. It gives an S hook for a triple, but Phil knows he's got an S himself, and there's 2 already being played, so there's only 1 S left, plus of course the 2 blanks. So Phil's keeping the board volatile and for hooks and floaters to try to get back into the game. Rafa's been bitten the bum a little by keeping 4 vowels. I believe he must have kept A, E, E, I or similar and picked up I, R. So he's got a bit of a nightmarish rack and may well change here. There could be something like airy, but that could possibly leave 2 I's. Rafa might want to try to get the danger out of the way, what Phil's created by his volatile play, and maybe play a blocky move parallel to the METH.
Phil's got a bingo on meth.
Apparently Phil's got a bingo on meth. I guess it must be Germans.
Mm-hmm.
So Rafa can score quite handily. Area the top quackle play is a nice play and would restrict Phil's options in bonuses by taking out the meth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Phil would be struggling to play it elsewhere. So in circumstances like this, some players may change, thinking, oh god, 6 vowels, need to dump them. Well, yeah, have to take other considerations into play, like reading what your opponent has played and reading from that, and area would be a very nice move to limit Phil's possibilities and take out the danger that Phil's created with his meth setting himself up. One of Quackle's possible moves is changing 5 vowels. Rafa has made his plays, played Remay, which is good scoring. He's taken 3 vowels out but kept 2 I's. But obviously Rafa can't see Phil's rack, but Phil's going to reply quickly with Germans and meths on the bottom row to get well back in the game, scoring probably around 80 points. 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 30, 35, 36, 37, 90 points in fact. So Phil will be 21 points behind when he plays this. 96, I only said 90, I didn't do the double G. Menges was the second best move, which would be nicer than other circumstances. And Rafa's challenge, so Phil's got a cool 101 points for this move and is only 10 points behind, I believe now. See what Rafa's picked up to match his 2 I's, E, and I believe R was his other tile he had left.
An I and an O, it looks like.
So Rafa's picked up some junk, IOD, but Rafa's either going to change or try to play off at least 2 I's and score reasonably, otherwise the change may be the best option this time. I think D-I-R-I, the G at the top, E is good. Dirige, which I believe is the same as a dirge, which gets rid of some of the tiles and the vowels, but doesn't score very well. No, man isn't on one of the Quackle suggested plays. Quackle suggesting on the H at the bottom, IOI, which is quite a weak best play because it gives the triple opportunities at the bottom, which the O above the double letter would create. Quackle's also suggesting OI on 11E, which is making QI. I think I might be tempted to a big change and maybe keeping ride here. Hoyd is another possibility, but again it keeps two eyes, which isn't very favourable for Rafa's long-term prospects for the game. I might personally plump for the 5th best move according to Quackle, change and keeping RIDE. Rafa's gone for some points playing OI and having the same rack leave as I suggested, but with an extra I, but scoring 15. So Rafa's got a 25-point lead now, and Phil's picked up a fresh rack of junk. He's picked up BLAAO and another OU. It's nearly a boolia, but not quite. If there was a I instead of a second O, but there isn't. Possibly a B could go before OI, where Rafa's just playing some vowels through that. Maybe boa or something. It's not hugely inspirational, but doesn't seem to be a lot of opportunities. Phil's exchange 4. Not sure what he's got. Rafa's got a diorite on his rack. Is it playable? Diorite. Yes, it's playable on a B of biners on the row 13. So that will go down quite quickly. It's putting the D between triples, but it's the only bingo available, so it's not going to be turned it down. Now Rafa's 276 to Phil's 178, a lead of 98. Phil's got a heavy non-bingo rack, but possibly a scoring rack of ALBJIWC. He must have kept ALB from his last rack and got rid of OOU something. So can Phil score highly with this rack? There's uninspirational things like JA overly OR of diorite, but that's pretty weak and would give a weak rack balance. If the float, it's got Wilja on his rack, WILJA, but will that fit in anywhere? It's looking doubtful. Can I have a bit of Quackle inspiration, Jessica, please? Jail's a possibility on the top, L1 going down, and indeed has been played. So Phil closes the gap to 53, but I believe he's got a heavy leave of WBC. Rafa's got a very strong rack. He could just play JEUX, which would be 54 points. I don't know if I got Rafa's rack correct there. I might have seen something else, but it seems Rafa's rack is SOZEAE blank,
yeah,
which is very stronger. I saw something else. It must have been a Phil's replacement rack that I saw. There's all the Zoe A type words, whether there's something big going through the D on a triple. There's G's, JEZ exclamation, saying geez, isn't that a lot of points in this case? 60 it would be. So that's probably going to be the minimum that Rafa's going to score here, and is in fact the best move available. The highest, it's not quite the highest score, but it's the highest valuation. because this gives a strong rack leave as well of AOS blank, which must be worth 32.1 points, with a total valuation of the move being 60 for the score, and 32.1 for the leave, making a total valuation of 92.1. Rafa's in a very, very strong position this game with a 113-point lead, and Phil having a rack of BWCIOON, and Rafa having a blank AOS leave before his pickup. So Rafa is very, very much in the ascendancy this game, unless something drastic happens. And Rafa seems to have, even though they're quite awkward, it looks, it's an N, not an M, so that's even more promising. But we're on Phil's rack at the moment.
Mine it says M. No, changed to N.
Phil's probably looking to score highly in the bottom left-hand corner, but it appears to be easier said than done with this. My partner is saying she feels sorry for Phil because he's got awful tiles, but Phil has posted that he's been picking that bag in a lot of games, so he's had his fair share of beautiful tiles. The top player, Colin Northmore, is Cowbind, which I definitely don't know on the D, and if Phil had known it, he'd have played it, because it would have scored very, very well and got rid of a lot of awkward tiles to clear Phil's rack. So if any of you watching Millions saw Cowbind, well done. Should be able to see something from Rafa's rack. It's very strong, CNVAOS blank with a 92-point lead. What can we see? Can see concaves if there's a floater. There should be something easy-ish to see here. Everyone's, unless you're good enough to see a place straight away with the blank, and then the rest of us are going through the dictionary as to what we could use the blank for. The very top players are extremely quick at seeing words and use their time for seeing if there's any better plays, as can be demonstrated on Aerolith and the word quizzing machine, where such players as Dave Wiegand, Craig Beavers and Will Anderson, without others, can be seen to have extraordinarily fast word recall, which puts them at an advantage.
Is it volcanoes through the O of diorite?
If volcanoes can be spelt with OS ending, which it probably can, that would be playable through the O of diorite, but wouldn't have a premium score. In fact, it's only one of two bonus, the other one being avionics through the I of diorite. So we'll see if Rafa can see that. Rafa's got a very good word knowledge.
He's got it. Okay. No, that's
and Rafa suggested people to start on 15-letter words when studying, and the lowest probability 8s. And so I think Rafa and friends quiz each other with strange anagrams during tournaments, such as Rafa with Rick Kennedy and Austin and Lewis, etc. But this is a serious game, and Rafa's taking as long as he needs to decide if he's got a bonus, and if he has, which is the better one to play. Avionics is nice, but it would leave an A next to the triple word, which is potentially very dangerous, but Rafa's obviously not aware of Phil's not tremendous tiles. Rafa might be looking for 7 on bows on the right hand side, but there actually isn't anything available there. So moves like this, even though there's not much available, players might spend quite a bit of time to see if there is anything, and may end up just playing a small word, and then other people might say, why have they took so long just to play that? And it's because they're looking for the possibilities.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. You're making lots of good points.
Rafa's time must be going down here. I'd guess he may be down to 10 to 14 minutes. Yeah, I'm being told Rafa's got 10 minutes left, but there's not that many tiles left, so he can afford to take time over this move, and quite often moves involving a blank can take longer than bog standard moves. This all this thinking time is causing the 6th recommended word by Quackle. It's causing havoc with Rafa's clock. I'd hope Rafa would see volcanoes at least, and may decide that maybe the best play, but then again it doesn't take out the triple opportunities. Rafa's decided to play Novas on the right, making bows, B-O-W-S. Phil won't be able to take advantage of a triple with his C-L-L-N-R-I-O rack, which don't mix well with a D really. So Phil's going to be looking to score hopefully 20s to 30s and keep a decent rack leave. So Rafa had given himself a rack leave of
like CA.
Quackle's suggestion E-Logic, which would be on the I of diorite, which would be a nice play. I don't know if Phil's made it. There's Logic on the top. Phil has played Logic, and he's got a fairly strong rack with Lania plus A, which makes air lane, which is no good. I don't think there's a bingo with it, but maybe with a floater. So Rafa's got a 107-point lead with a blank. There is one blank left as well as this one, with a rack of C, F, G, A, O, O, blank. The opportunities for bonuses aren't big, especially if Rafa takes out the bottom left hand corner. It will leave him in a strong position. There's obviously bonuses available ending in something above or below the L of Phil's Logic, but other than that, if Rafa manages to frustrate the bottom left hand corner, he's in a strong position, but he obviously needs to score reasonably at the same time. There's moves like FA in the top right hand corner for good points, but that's pretty uninspirational, but it is actually the most points on offer, FA making ZA. The two above that on Crocodile are Oof and Oof on the 14F and 14A. 14A is probably the strongest Oof, which is taking out the big triple threat. Yeah, it still leaves a triple opportunity, but a difficult one. So Rafa has played Doff, which can't be argued with. So Phil has got a 128 point deficit with a rack of airline, but not the I, but an extra A. And I do not believe there's a bonus with airlane, should I say, sorry. And there aren't any suitable floaters to make an A from what I can see. Playing through the I or the O of die right just looks a bit awkward. So I think Phil will be saying G's again. Phil may possibly have to play something uninspirational like EA in the top corner, making ZA, but that would be getting rid of his key. So he'd play AA, which would keep liner. That's a much better rack leave, but he'll be looking hard for something preferential to that. Quackle has shown as an airline, which I mentioned before, which would be playable on the bottom left-hand corner segment of the board, but would keep A, given a nice triple lane. Phil has played RR, making Allojack, but are we sure if Allojack's good? Phil seems to have picked, so either the play's been accepted or is good.
It's not good.
It seems Rafa thought about challenging, but didn't challenge Allogic, but it wasn't good as it happens. So Rafa's got a 110 point lead now with a record CGAIOU blank, which is, even though it doesn't look good, it's fairly promising. And there may well be a strange 8 beginning with GU, which I probably should know, but it's not coming to me. Yes, Jessica's just brought that up. The word I couldn't bring to mind was GU, blank for an A, IACO, ending in the L, which I should know because it ends in my name, Col. So it's Gua IA Col. I must repeat that 100 times. Gua IA Col.
Oh, that's really awful.
I'd say there's probably about 50-50 chance of Rafa seeing it.
That's a very hard word.
It's one of the 5 vowel 8s, which a lot of people learn off by heart if they can recall them all. Rafa's decided to play Gula, so he didn't see Guacal. But he may have seen it, but may have not been 100% sure of the spelling and decided it wasn't worth the risk, so he's kept himself a strong rack for next time and closed the board a bit again. Phil's got Pioneer on his rack, so he's going to play that under ALA on the top middle, making ALR, which I believe is something to do with insects' wings, which we will use in everyday parlance. Indeed, that's the top move, and the other one is a crustacean's thorax perioin, as we all know these definitions. And Phil's gone for the Peri Ion. So Rafa's been given. He's got his lead's down to 46 now, but he's got quite a strong rack, especially playing through the R. If the R was in a different place, that'd be cloudier, but it's not. There should be something here.
Oh, my goodness. Poor Phil. He keeps picking up the worst racks.
2, 4, 6, 7. There's a poultice from the P. Well, I'd say that's the worst best play, if there's anything else available. It's first score, and again it limits the board. It would make the T next to the triple letter, but increase Rafa's lead to over the 100-120 mark again.
Did you see Phil's rack?
We've got Quackles. The best play is Clupoid, which I don't know myself. Second best is Poultice, the one I said, and then Epuletic and Upcoiled. I would hope Rafa would see at least one of these, if not just the sort of bog standard Poultice, which I mentioned, which would put him in a commanding position. I've been shown Phil's got a horror rack of VD, always better, VD, KWRU blank. So he's going to be up against this for the rest of the game. Epulotic, anagram of Poultice. I have to remember that one. I'll get Rose to test me on these later, but Rafa has played Epulotic. I think Rafa's better on the weird and wonderful words than the normal words, from experience. So Rafa's got a 115-point lead with not a lot of tiles left in the bag. In fact, are those the last two tiles the XP? They are. So Phil's got the blank, but he's got Nightmare Let Us Be besides that. So it's going to be a victory to Rafa here. Phil will be extremely frustrated with his final rack. He'll be looking to score as many as he can from just a bad rack of tiles to minimise his spread deficit. Lewis Mackay's on the same number of wins as Phil, with Phil having a 269 point spread advantage, but with Phil very, very, very likely to lose this game. Phil will be sticking on 16 wins, and it will depend on the outcome of the Lewis-Austin game. Should Austin win that game, then the top three players will all be on 16 wins, which will be lead to a very exciting afternoon session. The final three games commentated on by top American player Jason Keller. So tune in after lunch. Sure, at this stage, that'll be steam coming out of Phil's head. Yeah, there's a bunch of miserable plays, like one I saw was Kid to the left of Epulotic in the middle, which has come up as one of the top 10 moves of 30. But then should Rafa be able to play out with his PX, which he is likely to. Yeah, he can play Pox at a minimum through Diorite. Then Phil's going to have a number of points to count against him at the end. So VWUR doubled, so he's going to lose 20 points for that. So Phil will be looking for the best net play here, being the play minus what he's going to have on his rack to count in Rafa's favour at the end of the game.
It's really been Rafa's game the whole way.
As I've mentioned before, blanks aren't everything. Like Phil having a blank here is no help to an absolute horror rack. So for people keeping statistics and say, oh, Phil had decent tiles, he had a blank. He had like absolutely no opportunity to use it for a decent score. So Quackle's saying the best move is E3 curved, which has the advantage of using 2 heavy points tiles, which won't count against Phil at the end. So he's got 26 minus 10 on his rack leave is 16. So a net gain of 16. The second best move of KOW on A1 has a rack leave of 8 points, so that's a net 16. So the top 2 have a net score of 16 points. So for players struggling with their end game, it's not just the points you can score with your last rack. It's taking into account what's left on your rack and what's going to count against you. Seems Phil's played Vide, which has blocked Pox there, but Rafa's got Pox next to Epuletic, which is going to score 20 points. And Phil's got 22 to count against him on there. With his what he's got left on his rack. So Rafa's gone for Pix, so it's Pix and Pox for the same points. In 2 squares away from each other. So Rafa's a runaway winner on this game with 5-0-1 to Phil's 3-6-7. Rafa probably did have the run of the tiles and missed 5 vowel bonus, but played quite well to win the game whatsoever. But Phil will be and let Phil get away with a phony as well. But well done to Rafa, and that concludes my first 3 games ever of commentating, so I hope I've been reasonable.
Yay!
So now that puts Rafa on 14.5 wins. Phil's on 16 wins still. And Lewis on 16 wins and Austin 15, but their game's still playing.